doing well. As promised, I said I'd provide some regular updates and just share my thoughts from time to time. So today I just wanted to talk about Essence, as I'm aware many in the community are talking about the yield that they're getting from their properties and the fluctuation of Essence. We are working on updates to the algorithms that will be in line with the tokenomics design that we have planned for release on Essence as a token in a few months' time. I won't go into too much detail on our tokenomics design right now. That'll come out later once we release the official white paper. But what I will say is that the distribution of Essence can actually go from inflationary to deflationary. So the highest point of benefit for the player will be through the inflationary period, and it can actually relay. It's quite interesting the way that we've designed this. But the most beneficial time for the player will be in the first probably 2, 3, maybe 4 years, depending heavily on what happens, because we can't detect what's going to happen on the platform. But during that first 2, 3, 4 years, that will be the most beneficial. Another point of reassurance that I can give you is that it will not only be Tier 1 land that has this set algorithm in place to determine the distribution, but Tier 2 land will also have this as well, just at a much lower rate. And if we ever decided to release Tier 3 land, that would also have it, again, at a much lower rate. So during inflationary periods, there will be set maximums on Tier 1 and Tier 2 land. And the amount that you get over it depends on how well you're playing the economic simulator. So that's like loading things like jewels and many other variables that come into how Essence is collected, generated on your property. For landowners who don't have enough time to manage all of their properties, they will be able to contract with EcoSim players, which is a free-to-play account, to get the maximum benefit out of their property. This will obviously be beneficial for the EcoSim player as well, because the contract will dictate how much the EcoSim player gets paid for their time and effort spent in managing the landowner's properties. The ability to contract between players will come probably over the next few months sometime. So to summarize, I apologize for the fluctuating in Essence and the unpredictability behind it all at the moment, but everybody will be operating under the same set of rules in the future. And this will also mean that smaller property owners will get to see fractions of Essence incoming, and they will be able to determine how much they're getting in smaller amounts, so it's not just coming up as zero on their property all the time. I love the vision of Web3 and the ideologies behind blockchain, but I don't agree with how most projects in that space are actually using it. The vast majority I am pretty much not in agreement with. That's why when Earth2 enters this space, I want to ensure that we're making the right decisions, and we're making those decisions based on the player's interest and also in the interest of the longevity of the Earth2 platform. I love playing games, I love buying skins, I love buying things that I can use or have utility in game. I love doing that, but at the end of the day, I'd love it more if I could be buying those things from other creative players who have spent their time making them, and meaning that the player would benefit from the actual sale of the product that they've spent time in creating, as opposed to the centralized game platform that traditionally releases such products, and they traditionally make all the money from them. I'm heavily focused on building these type of solutions for our platform. I realized we started off with digital land in Earth2, and it didn't really have a great deal of utility, and that played on my mind a lot as a gamer. See, I didn't expect Earth2 to go viral so quickly when I kicked the project off, and we spent a lot of time catching up, and it's only now in 2022 where we can really start looking at some utility and introducing some gameplay, especially when we get our 3D world that we can start playing with. That will be just really fun for me. It'll be a super enjoyable experience. I'd like Essence to continue having a lot of utility on the Earth2 platform, as I believe with that utility comes additional value. And just a little side note on something that's interesting. We're still internally debating against whether we should just keep pursuing with the non-custodial wallet or go with the custodial wallet. See, if we go with the custodial wallet system, then quite interesting that we would have close to a couple of 100,000 Essence holders or wallet holders of Essence. That's from day one when we go live. I don't know how important that is, but I know that Decentraland have around about 26,000 holders. I know Sandbox have a little bit over 30,000 holders. So Essence could literally have a couple of 100,000 holders if we went with custodial wallets. Very curious to see what you guys think about that in the community. If you want to make that a talking point, I'm very interested to see what people are thinking, or if you want to drop some comments below, please do so. When we're on the topic of things coming up, it's probably a video for another day, and I might just do that, but I can say that resources on properties is coming soon, so you'll be able to see which resources your property has. That will, of course, be a period of time where players can check and see where their property is at as far as the resources they expected, and then they can start preparing for the resource validation period, which will come a bit later in Q2. But it's exciting that the resource heat map is getting closer, and that'll be the first glimpse of where resources are based on player-owned land. So we're not going to be showing resources on non-player owned land. Anyway, I've said more than I planned to. So to summarize, thank you very much for the tier 1 and tier 2 land holders. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for waiting when we get this algorithm implemented. Once it's done, you'll have a much more stable idea on what your property will be able to produce, but gameplay will also be a part of that, and it will become more and more difficult to be able to earn Essence on your properties as things progress with the economic simulator. So that, and also that update will also introduce fractions, so people won't see zero on their Essence properties, and they'll be able to get an idea of smaller Essence amounts coming in for those smaller property landowners. As promised, I will try to share my thoughts a little bit more often on different things. I know there's many different things that I could share my thoughts on, which might be of interest to people. If you're still liking me sharing my thoughts, let me know, and I'll keep trying to work it into my schedule and throw a video out there every now and again. Until then, keep safe, take care, and goodbye.